Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Coming up on today's show, I thought in ESPN's NFL Power Rankings with training camps underway across the National Football League, the San Francisco 49ers were highly disrespected. They were not a top team in the NFC, and they barely made it inside the top 10. We're going to unpack that. I have a lot of thoughts coming your way on the docket. First, let's hear from you. ESPN letting their feelings be known about this Niners team. What do you say? The 49ers are the blank best team in the NFL. Fill in the blank for me right now. The criteria for ESPN and how they went about it, as far as the grading spectrum, 100, A+, and elite roster. 90 grade, A. It's great. 80, B, very good. 70, C, average. When I was in school, I was the epitome of C's get degrees. Luckily, the Niners roster, much better than that. 60 D, very bad. 50 and below, F, disastrous. So ESPN had a writer, Dan Graziano, Louis Riddick, NFL analyst, and somebody else kind of combine their evaluations to grade these teams in the NFL to come up with their power rankings on this numerical scale. And every team has a category from reason of hope, reason to be concerned, a nugget to know, and we're going to dive into all of that here on the show. Here are the top 10 teams. Surprisingly, 3 AFC teams atop the list. The reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. No surprises there. The Baltimore Ravens were excellent last year. They were the number 1 seed. Number 2. I think the Buffalo Bills might struggle this year. They got rid of a lot of really good players, and they're going to be overly Josh Allen reliant in 2024. So to see them at number 3, that caught me by surprise. And then ESPN has the Detroit Lions ahead of the Niners, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 5 ahead of San Francisco, and the young upstart Houston Texans coming in at number 6 before the Niners are there at the tail end of the top 10 at number 7. Now, they're followed by the Cincinnati Bengals, Green Bay Packers, and Miami Dolphins. I don't have a ton of issues with the back end, but to say that the Niners are not at least number 3, they should be number 2, I think that's somewhat criminal. So I'm surprised here that San Francisco is ranked by ESPN as the 7th best team in the NFL. Why is that? We're going to get that answer here in the next couple of minutes. Here's what ESPN had to say specifically about the construction of this organization. The overall roster, they did say they had the best overall roster non-quarterback at 93.3. Brock Purdy, 11th best quarterback at 84. Not bad. I think he's the top 10 quarterback. You look at what he did last year, both with your eyes and then taking a look at numbers that go beyond the simplified box score numbers. You can't tell me he wasn't a top 10 quarterback last year. Coaching, 2nd. I'm a huge fan of Kyle Shanahan. I think he gets a championship at some point. He's too elite not to. ESPN agrees with me there. They have him as the 2nd best head coach at 84.7. The Niners front office, how do they build and put together the best and most highest ranked roster, but they're 16th as far as their front office? Make it make sense. That's why you tune into this show. The reason of hope or for hope that ESPN has for the Niners. Coach Kyle Shanahan is the main reason for optimism over the next few years in San Francisco. The Niners will have star players age out and or price themselves out in the coming off seasons, but Shanahan has the quarterback he wants in Brock Purdy and has shown a consistent ability to keep this team competitive at a high level when it has been healthy. And I agree. Kyle Shanahan did not walk into an easy situation when he took over as head coach back in 2017. He had to rebuild this entire organization from top to bottom. And in 4 of the last 5 years, the Niners have made it to 4 NFC championship games. And in the last 5 years, that includes 2 Super Bowl appearances. They've consistently been the 2nd best team in the NFL over that stretch behind the Kansas City Chiefs, who they can't behead as the monster that's in front of them, but they're so close. Reason for concern from ESPN. The wide receiver room is headed toward an overhaul. Either Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel won't be here for the long term. Although I love the 49ers rookie draft class at the position, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, have to prove they can complement each other and produce at the level of Ayuk and Samuel for San Francisco to capture the Lombardi Trophy. I don't think that it's a guarantee that this team won't have Ayuk and Deebo for the foreseeable future. I mean, you look at the Miami Dolphins. They have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, two of the top 5 highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. They have yet to pay Tua Tagovailoa, right? Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is making $51 million per year, but he won't have a cap hit north of $30 million until 2027. Philadelphia's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown is the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Devontae Smith is a top 10 highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. So the Niners, even with paying Brock Purdy, can still afford Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Of course, there's a realistic scenario that this time next year, one of the two is not with this team. Nugget to know from ESPN on the Niners here. Linebacker Fred Warner will turn 28 in November and is under contract through 2026. He ranked 19th among off-ball linebackers in coverage DVOA last year and is one of the few linebackers whom opposing quarterbacks tend to actively avoid. The Niners as a team ranked 2nd in DVOA against the pass in the short middle area and 4th against all passes of up to 15 air yards, which again speaks to Warner's ability. Undoubtedly, unquestionably, Fred Warner is the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. Instincts, speed, physicality, awareness, diagnosing plays. He pretty much is a coach and a quarterback for the defense. He is just able to dissect things before they happen, read them, react, make a play. And this Niners team is so special. That's why I want this team so badly to win a Super Bowl, because the legacies of so many people on this team change with one Lombardi Trophy, and they've been so ever close to getting the job done. More to get to here on the show, but this Niners t-shirt combo has been crushing it this offseason. A lot of people have purchased these 2 shirts for the price of 1, on sale right now for just $45. All you have to do, thanks to our friends at Fanatics, is go to chatsports.com/49combo. Now, ESPN has the Niners ranked 7th in their power rankings. Why I think San Francisco can win the Super Bowl. Both sides of the ball. Supremely talented. Best overall roster in the National Football League. And offensively, all 11 starters return, now that Ayuk has reported the training camp, for a team last year that was the number 1 overall offense in the NFL. Continuity, synergy, consistency as far as personnel, all very important. This defense, they got some dogs, man. Could Javon Hargrave be elite once again? Malik flanking him. I like him a lot. Leonard Floyd, a great edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa. Have been able to say that the last couple of years. The cornerback spot is deep. Linebacking room, supremely talented. Safety spot, good enough. Brock Purdy, I think there's room for more growth. I think that he can be better in 2024 than he was in 2023. And I have some interesting notes on that coming up here in just a moment. And then Kyle Shanahan, at some point with the San Francisco 49ers, he will win a Super Bowl. That's my guarantee that I'm very, very confident in. As for Brock Purdy, this Purdy story is nuts. According to one of the GOAT NFL YouTubers, Brett Coleman, who is a fantastic content creator, he's living the dream, he does excellent work, he revealed on his show that Purdy was rehabbing his surgically repaired elbow late into November of last year. Think about that, with how well he was playing up to that point. Going into December, the 49ers were 8-3, number 1 seed in the NFC. Purdy was balling out in the thick of the MVP race. And despite this and Purdy's arm not being 100%, he had the highest completion percentage on passes of 20-plus yards at 55%, was number 1 in deep ball catchable rate percentage. He led all quarterbacks in yards per attempt. And everybody wants to tell me Kyle Shanahan schemed everything open. He was 14th in receiver target separation. So this is why I think that he can be better in 2024 compared to last year. For the first time in his NFL career going into year 3, he has a full, healthy offseason. My concerns with this team and why they might not win a Super Bowl this year, bad offensive line play. It's a mediocre unit. The middle to right side, huge question marks. I like the left side with Aaron Banks and Trent Williams, but the middle right, head scratchers. I'm worried about the injuries. Last year, the Niners were the 4th healthiest team in the NFL. Prior to that, though, under Kyle Shanahan, they were top 10 in injury rate every year he had been the head coach. And the Niners have played a lot of football over the last few years, making it to those 4 NFC championship games and those 2 Super Bowls. And they have the number 1 rest disadvantage this year. And then they have a new defensive coordinator. What if Nick Sorensen is a disaster and that unit can't get it right all year? That would be an issue. They could not stop a nosebleed in the second half against Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Real One roll call. If you're still hanging out here with us, type Real One down below. Thank you so much for all of your support here on the Niners Report. Special things in store this upcoming season for San Francisco.